what's up, StaleMates? Welcome back to another episode. Very special guest. I say that every time. Him and his wife kind of calling me out on social media. We haven't came up here, said we're ignoring them. But for me, it's probably more of a, probably like, I don't want to say like a starstruck thing, but you never, like, especially with like COVID going on, I never really wanted to like reach out to people because I don't like rejection. So if I reach out, you say, no, I don't like you or something like that. Cause you don't know who likes you and who doesn't. So I'm glad that we made it.
I like you, man. Especially that mustache, man. The thing's coming in
Everybody
nice.
comments on the mustache. I shaved it. People didn't like it. So now I'm at a point. I don't know which way to go.
No, you keep it, man. It looks good.
Do you read the comments? Cause like for me, I shaved it because I'm reading the comments and I'm thinking like people like it. People don't like it. They're calling me a pedophile. They're calling me all these kind of things. Do you read the comments like on your matches and stuff?
I try not to. I mean, that's where you want to fight. I mean, that's where my wife tries to fight everybody in the world. I'm like, I mean, the comments, you're going to have good and bad. You're going to have some people are just going to say things just to say things, So I think as long as you know and you feel good about it, I mean, can I say I never read the comments? No, because then I'm lying. But I try not to for the most part because some people are going to love you, some people aren't, and you know what I mean. I know what I stand for, and that's enough for me. So,
do you read like now forums are kind of dead? I was actually on the Panther forum last night, trying to just doing research and homework and stuff like that. But did you ever read the wrestling forums growing up, or coaching, or even as an athlete?
Yeah, I mean, I did more before. Like I don't even check those things out anymore. Just because it's funny, because especially when you're inside and you kind of know what's going on, and they're like, well, they got little pieces of this, right? And they got a little piece of that, and it's like it's kind of funny, people trying to figure out what's going on. It's just a lot of gossip for the most part, but and I don't know, there's just a lot of poison out there, and try not to buy into that too much. But did I used to read the forums? I used to read them quite a bit, and it was kind of funny, like I said, just knowing what's going on, and then people are commenting or thinking this is going to happen, and you really know what's going on. So I always got a chuckle out of that, but I try not to take part in any of those anymore.
Do you think it's good to sometimes read them? Because like for our content stuff, sometimes I read them to make sure that people, what they like and what they don't like. Do you think that it's good? Like, do you ever read it and like take the advice, or are you just like, no, this guy's?
I think you got to always be open-minded to making improvements in what's out there. And I mean, people do have different angles and takes to things. I think it just depends on what their feedback you're giving you or what they're talking about. Certain things I'm certainly not going to take into consideration, but some things I certainly would. I just think, man, you get feedback from people, and you try to use it and I guess improve any way you can. Especially like for you guys. I mean, you're going out to people, and the comments and the feedback that gives you a good idea. Hey, man, I really like what's going on. Hey, I don't like this part of it. Hey, you should do more of this. So I know for me as a coach, I try not to a whole lot, but I think for you guys, it's probably very important that you're getting some of that feedback.
Yeah. I think for the most part, as long as they're not being just like, there's a difference between feedback and just hating.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Have you figured out who's like all the anonymous people are on the Panther forum? Like it was kind of the same like 5 people I noticed. Like the Hawkeye Report, there's so many different people that you don't even, you don't know who's who, but on there's like 5 people. Have you figured out who everybody is? You don't have to don't say their name or anything.
I got a good idea.
Yeah.
You get a good idea of who people are. I think there's still a couple guys that I think everyone's still trying to 100% figure out who they are, and because it's like, how did he know that? Like, there's only.
Have you found the mole? Have you ever found it? Like,
I have not. What's funny, when I was back at Iowa, because Kentucky Mudflap was kind of the guy, and I remember we're in the elevator one time. And this is at Nationals, and I think it was me and Tom, and there's like 5 other guys on there, and they're Hawkeye fans. They're talking, and he started, hey, which one of you used Mudflap? Just trying to fish a little bit, and it was kind of fun for a while trying to figure out who some of those guys were. But I think certain things, I guess it's good that you're getting talked about, but I guess you just can't buy into any of it too much.
Does Tom? You said I can't imagine them ever like getting on a forum or like when we did the interview with him, he had no clue who we were at all. Like it was more like a mutual person that set it up, and so he literally walks in and he's like, in 2 sentences, tell me who you are. And I'm like, because he just had no clue. So it's crazy to me that he would even pay attention.
Well, I think you start hearing about things though, and they're more aware than they let on to. sometimes. So,
Is that part of the? That's part of the.
But I know they
the
don't
thing?
pay attention to some of the other stuff. But I think they're certainly more aware than you would think. Yeah.
Okay, so what about your? I don't want to keep talking about this stuff, but like with your athletes, do you tell them not to pay attention to that stuff, or you just kind of let them? You know who can handle it, and who can't.
Yeah, I think it's the way of our world right now. I mean, unfortunately, social media is what we are and part of what we do. It just, man, your self-worth can't get bought into that, though. I mean, that's the whole thing, I mean, there's, like I said, there's going to be people, oh, you're the greatest thing ever. And, if everything's based on your results, and even this weekend, we had guys compete, it's like, you're way more than your results. Like, you're improving, and you have to continue to buy that. Like, who are you going to listen to? Are you going to listen to some guy that you don't know? Are you going to really let him impact your day, or the people that are around you and that really truly care about you? Are you those ones that you're going to really buy into? I know it's hard, man. It's a different world for these kids. I didn't have to, maybe a little bit of form stuff at the end, but nothing like these guys are part of. I mean, you're way better off not buying into it at all, but to think that these guys aren't going to pay attention to it, that's crazy. They're gonna. So you got to figure out how to be able to use it in a good way, in a positive way. Even for us as coaches, we got to figure out how to use it in a positive way, because it's out there with recruits, with everybody. Guys are going to watch this, and they're going to see it, and it's like, okay, maybe they're like, man, I really like this guy, or they're like, nah, I don't care for that guy at all. I'm just going to be who I am. That's what I try to get our athletes to be who you are, man. You don't need to try to get likes or whatever, but I know that's the way of the world. We've tried to get some guys to get rid of it, but that's also not going to happen either. So we got to get them to be able to manage and use it the right way, and like I said, not get bought into the comments. Know who they are inside, and we're going to grade on different things other than just their wins and losses. So trying to really get them to buy into that.
Yeah, and I look at I look at a lot of your athletes, and it seems like you kind of recruit the same kind of kid. It seems like, and a lot of times it's like in-state kids, and you do a really good job of like taking the kid who might get overlooked by a different school and really turning him into, the kind of wrestler that you like. Do you look at their social media and stuff and kind of to gauge who they are? I mean, you meet them in person and stuff like that, but like, how much do you really take in from their social media and like their presence online and how they are in the public?
Well, I mean, they can just count themselves really quickly just by certain things. I mean, listen, if they're willing to put that out there for the world, like, come on, guy. Like, because you're always trying to figure out, okay, is this really who this kid is? Is he been coached this way and like to talk this way, or is this really who he is? And for me, I that's more getting around them, getting in their home, having conversations with them, having multiple conversations with them, asking them the people that they're around, their teachers and, okay, other guys on the team, and hey, what's this guy really like? And then they get on a visit here. Okay, what's this guy? What was he like when he wasn't around the coach? Was he the same? Okay, how does he interact with his parents? We're trying to take all that into consideration. So I think you talk about in-state kids, we probably have a little bit more intimate knowledge of them and who they are and who they've grown up around. So I think for me, that I like that. I like small town Iowa kid, but it don't make me a small town Georgia kid. It can be small town Illinois, Wisconsin. It doesn't matter. Like, we'll take kids from everywhere. I think we just got to find guys that really truly believe in what we're doing. And man, to me, it's what's unique about here is the people, and that's anywhere you're going to go. The people are unique. Like the facility, yeah, this is a great facility. It's awesome to wrestling, but man, the people that they're going to spend their time with, and that's what they need to really look at, and they need to really dig in deep. Is he really going to help me grow as a man? Is he really going to help me grow in my wrestling or developing guys? You talked about, hey, I feel like we're developing guys very well. And we just got to continue to do that. And for me as a coach, I got to continue to get better. But yeah, there's a certain kid that I look for. I look for guys that are coachable, they're gritty, and they're freaking selfless. Those are three things that I look for, and trying to figure out, okay, because to me, that's what fits into our program. And you got to have guys that really fit and belong in your program. And I think the guys that come here, they're like, man, this feels like home. This is family. This is where I want to be. And those are guys like, all right, man, let's get on board. I don't care what you've won so far. That has no bearing on what you're going to do moving forward.
That's interesting, because I always think that I have this question that I ask a lot of people off camera. I don't know if I've ever really brought it up in video or anything like that. But to me, I feel like wrestling is a lot of it is very results based. When you look at like baseball or basketball or football, you have a lot of scouts going to the game to watch the kid's body language when he's walking up and down the sidelines, or to see him in person, or like maybe they're clocking him with the whatever that thing's called.
Yep.
But in wrestling, to me, it always felt like very results based. Like, okay, this kid plays first, second, or third at Fargo, that's our guy, or fourth, fifth, and sixth, like that's the guy that we should go after. Are you more of a coach who you don't necessarily care? Because like look at Drew Foster, right?
Yeah.
Didn't win a state title. That you saw something in him that other schools might not have. Because wasn't he going to go play football or something like that?
Yeah, he's going to go D3. And I mean, I think some guys said, well, you're a D3 athlete. And Randy was the guy from day one. Was like, this guy, we have to get this guy.
Is there something that you don't want to let the magician doesn't show his tricks or nothing, right? You don't want to let the cat out of the bag for other schools to do this, but what is it that you really think that you look for in a kid, or like, is it just results?
I mean, that catches your eye. I mean, obviously, you have guys that are doing well and winning. But there has to be more. It has to be deeper than that. I mean, for me, there's their improvement. I mean, there's a desire for them to get better. Some kids, I mean, they're reaching their peak when they're a senior in high school.
How do you know that's the peak, though?
You don't. I mean, that's the thing. I think we were all trying to figure those things out. But I think certain guys, and you can see how they go about things, how they train. Just do they have a love for wrestling? Is it coming from someone else, or is it coming from them? And those are the things you're always trying to figure out. That's why you ask them a lot of questions. You get around them. You get in their home. You get in a training environment. You just get around them and try to. I guess for me, feel's a big thing. Like I got to feel certain things. Like I'm connected to that. Some people may be more analytical and they their numbers, and that's not me. Hey, this feels right. And you're watching body language, you're watching all those things, but you're watching guys' improvement, because where they're at right now, like I said, a year from now, depending on what they're willing to do, they can be a different guy. And then 2 years, and then all of a sudden they put 3 or 4 or 5 years together. Yeah, then you know what? Then they can be a national champ to a guy that they're like, well, that guy should have went D3. And that's what we're looking for. And really, what happens is the athletes, the guys start to attract themselves here. They're like, this is where I want to be. These are the type of people, and like, man, you want to be here? You believe in us? You believe in me as much as I believe in you? Okay, that's a great match. Let's go.
That's my guy.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're the real state school? Because you look at some of these other schools, and one of them is my favorite team, but like a lot of the state schools are recruiting out of state guys. But you look at UNI, you got what, 4 Fort Dodge kids. Yeah. You got all these different Iowa schools, Albia. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have all these.
No, well, absolutely we are. I mean, just look at the makeup of our student body too. I think it's some 90%. It's Iowa, and we're a little bit of the smaller school. We're in the smaller. I think absolutely. If you look at, to me, what symbolizes the state, it's UNI, and our team is certainly that makeup. And are we opposed to going out of state? No. I mean, we're going to continue to, like I said, finding the right group of individuals, and so we're going to get 35 individuals who all believe in each other, believe in the coaching staff, and are willing to raise the stakes to levels that haven't been seen, here since, the 50s.
Yeah. When you see a kid, though, and he chooses another school, and then he comes back to UNI, you're like, well, you should have picked us the first time. Or you're just like, play it cool.
No, I mean, it's obviously there. We've had that happen a few times, recently, and it's like sometimes I think other things get put into the equation that to me aren't. As an 18-year-old, it's hard to see that's not important.
Yeah.
And especially, I mean, if you go to an official visit and you didn't have a good time and you didn't think this is the greatest place ever, wherever you went, they did something wrong. I mean, that's part of what this process to me is for me, getting through some of that stuff, and not like, hey, all the stuff wears off and you're like, well, what the hell happened, man? This isn't the place that I thought it was going to be. I had the greatest time here on my visit. Now coach is a little bit different. Like I'll be the same guy. My staff will be the same guy. We will be the same people, no matter day 1 on campus, day 1,000 on campus. That's just who we are, and I think that's very important that we're consistent in who we are. And I'm not trying to be anyone else. Like this is who I am. And you like that, and you want to ride with that, or you don't. Like that's kind of the way we go. But I think some of these guys that have come back, they realize, okay, I thought some of those things were important. I thought that, okay, some of this, and a bigger school, which, okay, that means nothing, man. It's all frame of mind. That's what it is. It has nothing to do with, okay, I'm in a bigger environment. I got 50,000 students on campus. We have this. That's all BS, man. It's the people you're going to be around and what you're willing to do, and you guys got to be able to see through that.
Yeah, I'm ready. Where do I sign up? You get me fired up a little bit there. All right, so we're sitting here in West Gym.
Yeah.
How important is this place? Because I've watched wrestling in a lot of different states,
Yeah.
a lot of different venues, everywhere you name it. I'm a super fan. But this place is absolutely brutal. I've been booed in front of people here. I just told you that story off camera. But how important is a West Gym, and why do you like wrestling in here?
Well, just the history of this building, guys have wrestled, I think, since 26 in here, so we're getting close to 100 years. They've wrestled in this building. There's been Olympians go through this building, Olympic champions. They actually won the 1950 title. Was the NCAAs was in this building, and they won it here. They used to have the state championships in here. So I just think, the throwback, and there's a romance that all the alumni have with this building. Guys come back and you can say that, well, we used to have a pool over here, and this used to be this, and this used to be that, and we used to have all these things in here. It just, there's a romance with it, and some nostalgia, I think, of bigger, nicer, newer. That's always better. I don't think that's always the case. Do I like McLeod? And I think that we need to continue to use that venue. Yeah, but having 2,200 people packed in here, like you said, on top of you, and the energy and the heat and there's nothing like it. Now we just got to get to where there's 6,500, 7,000 over there for those meets, and then it'd be pretty hard not to go over there every time. But I don't know. I love seeing too, man. When there'll be the same group of people that'll be lined up too, because it's open seating, so you get first come first serve. So you get people that they'll be the first ones in line, and they get their seats, and which is pretty cool. That you almost, like, talk about family. To me that's family. Like, hey, we're gonna be the first ones here. That's my seat. And then you remember, oh, there you. And I don't know. I just think I think the energy that this place brings, man, is second to none.
Who would you consider to be you and I's biggest rival?
I think for us in state, Iowa State, it's become a good battle.
I think between the fans too.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously we don't wrestle Iowa in duels.
Let's talk about that. What do you think in your time here? And we don't know how long you'll be coaching here, or you retire here, or whatever, right? What percentage of a chance you think we see Iowa come to West Gym?
Oh, 0.
0%.
Yeah.
Okay. What about Carver Hawkeye?
Right now, I don't think the percentage is very high.
Are they ducking you? Are they dodging you? What's
no,
is it a scheduling thing, or what's going on?
We could have a whole episode on some of that, but
that's the bonus content. You got to pay for that.
Going back to, it's been 7-8 years now since we dueled, so. You almost it's not going to happen anymore. It's okay. We'll go to Midlands, we'll wrestle there, and for us, we got to do better nationally. You got to go out.
Yeah, but I don't necessarily think it's on you guys. Like, they wrestle, so I'm not going to name some schools, but they wrestle some smaller schools.
Could they add us into their schedule? Absolutely. Yeah, we asked for a long time, and I stopped asking because I'm not going to continue to ask. Like you said, rejection, man.
yeah. After a while, you just got to say, hey, maybe this girl isn't for me. I gotta move on.
And it's okay. I think, people have talked about it for a long time and wanted it to happen. And you know what, congrats to them to win a national title this year. They got a great team coming back. But would we ever not wrestle them? No, we'll wrestle them. We'd love to. Our guys would love that opportunity to be able to do that, but I haven't got a call, so if we get a call, then we'll get it figured out. If not, I'm not making any more phone calls, though.
Okay, I like that answer. Let's stay in the Big Ten, though. Obviously, the big news. You were in the news last week. The Twitter game a little bit. Willie Saylor puts out a tweet saying that Coach Schwab turned down the Illinois job. How close was that to being a thing, or was that just kind of let me do my due diligence, see what's going on. I'm staying here. How'd that all play out?
Yeah, I took a serious look at it. It's I think I can tell you this, that I've never done my job looking to the next job. I've always done my job as, this is where I'm going to be. I'm going to put everything I possibly can into this place and build this thing the right way. And then, if opportunities come up, and I was almost like, things move really quick. It's like, oh, we're having a talk, and then, okay, this is getting really serious. And then it's like, okay, well, I make a decision. And it certainly made me think, I mean, Illinois, I have a ton of respect for them. It has nothing to do with the disrespect to them and their program and the department and what they're doing. Just my job's not done here. I believe in what we're doing, what we've built. My family has a great community around them, and love my guys, man. I love my team. Like it's something where I hadn't thought about it. I honestly hadn't thought about it. And, obviously I put some serious thought into it in the last week, but it didn't feel right. And I said I go by feel a lot, and it didn't feel right. And that doesn't mean that it won't be the right time sometime. But I'm going to put everything I can into this year, like I put into every year, and then after the season, then you kind of go from there. But I think people always want to, well, it's because of this or it's because of that, and like you don't know, you just don't like you don't know, and guys want to always have the inside information on everything and think that they know why, and we kind of talked about it. It's always bigger's better, and this is always better, and this is always better because you have this and you have that, and like, man, to me it's the people. It's the people that you're around. And I got a group of individuals that they believe in me. They believe in the program. They believe in our coaching staff and what we're doing, man. And we're building something special. And man, it was not the right time to move, do something else. Do I think I can do it somewhere else? Absolutely. I mean, I believe in myself and what we're built, but man, I want to do it right here.
Does it give you some sort of like looking back on it, obviously you had to make a decision, and so you're thinking about, your current situation here, and then you're thinking about the future if you were to go there. Does it give you some sort of like gratitude, like being able to sit back and kind of take it all in, what you've built here, and being like, man, do I really want to leave that? Did it give you some sort of like appreciation for what you have here?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, you should be proud of the things you've done and what what you built, but that's not just me though. And that's the thing, is like you start thinking about all the individuals that have been part of this thing, that have poured their blood, sweat, and tears and belief into it, and all the supporters that we have that, man, I've built relationships with, and athletes that you have relationships with, that you have an intimate knowledge of them and who they are and care about them as people and love them. Leaving that, if it was now or a year from now or 10 years from now, that's going to be incredibly hard to do. I could tell you that I know what I put into our guys, and I feel good about that. I think, you start to reflect, and that's probably something that I figured out in the process, is I probably need to do that a little bit more. I probably need to, there's some things that I need to think through, but like I said, I wasn't thinking through, like, I know some of these coaches, it's like, well, what's the next thing? I want to get this so I can do this, or I can move to this, or who's going to, how many years does this guy have left, and all those things, like that stuff is, I'm doing a disservice to my athletes if I'm thinking that way. So, I mean, it got me to think about some things that I probably hadn't, and got me to know that right now this is exactly where I want to be, and the group of guys that I want to do it with. So, man, like I said, I love my team and coaches, and the belief that they have in me and the community that we have around us, and my family loves the Cedar Valley. So, yeah, real hard to leave that, but it certainly got me to think in some ways that I hadn't before. So.
One thing I've noticed with you and I is you guys don't, and it's obviously a couple, no one's perfect, but you don't really have a lot of kids that transfer out of this program. It seems like a lot of the kids, even the guys that, you see a lot of kids at other programs will transfer because they didn't make the lineup, or there's just not a spot for them or something like that, and they want to wrestle, so they leave. I have no problem with that at all. But you really don't have a lot of kids transfer out of here. I think that to me says a lot about like you and your staff and the fans and stuff like that, the whole program. Like that's got to be like the number one accolade when you look at a coach.
Yeah, for sure. I think we don't blow bullshit to them. This is how we're going to treat you. This is what it's going to take. Like, we're very clear. Like, you're going to have to work your tail off, man, to be able to get these things, and that's going to be on you. We're going to be right beside you, but man, you're going to have to point the finger here to get stuff done, and we'll help you along the way. But I just think that they know they're cared about as people, and it's not like, based on my results, and you're doing good and you're scoring points for us and we're giving you a hug and you're the greatest thing ever. And then if not, then you're off on the side and we're like, what happened to that guy?
Right.
It's not, man. We care about these guys as people. We always will. And I mean, love our guys. And that's not a 5-year thing. I think sometimes guys are like, what can you do for me now? Like, no, man, to me, we're building a relationship hopefully for the next 50 years. And I think that's important. I think sometimes coaches get too short-sighted. What can this guy do for me now? Or, hey, you know what? this guy's not going to make it, so we'll push him out and we'll get someone else in here. It's like, okay, well, what happened to you helping to develop? You know what I'm saying? Well, if it's just you got to wrap the guy out of the box and plant him on the butt and they go score points for you, or is there going to be some development on your part from a coaching aspect? And I think sometimes the coaches lose that. You know, I'm going to put everything I can into our guys every single year, and when I'm not willing to re-up the next year, then I need to be done, because that's not fair to them. But yeah, I mean, I don't like guys leaving. I don't think they ever should leave. I think that, man, we believe in these guys, and you know, guys are going to leave for certain reasons. I think the transfer portal right now is
it's popping. If there's a club, that's the club to be in right now.
Which, it was too hard before. It's too easy now. And I think I said this on one of the shows the other day. I don't like that they don't even have to have a conversation with the head coach. Like, I'm not saying I'm going to keep a guy. Like, if you don't want to be here and you don't believe in what's going on, or you know what, hey, you feel like something didn't fall through like we were supposed to, come have a conversation with me first before we get to that point. And then if we can't reconcile it, then okay, move on. I still care about you and I'll help you any way I can. But obviously here's not that place to get it done. But to not have a conversation with the coach, I just don't think that helps those guys hold them accountable in any way, shape, or form. Like, you have to have tough conversations. And what are we teaching these kids? Well, things don't work out. It's not going well. Coach got on me a little bit, and he was hard on me. Like, yeah, I'm going to be hard on you, dude. You're 18 to 22, 23. Like, you don't know anything. Like, you need to listen, believe, apply what we're talking about.
Stop going to Sharkies every weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, start pointing the finger here more. Everyone wants to, professor, it's this, it's that, it's not me. Like, yeah, it is you. Point the finger here. That's all you have control of anyway. I don't know. I think I would change that. I don't know. I don't have the exact answer in that stuff.
Well, when I think of you and I don't necessarily think transfer you, because I don't think you've had a lot of kids transferring in either. Teskey, obviously, what you've done with him is crazy. You know, seeing what happened with him at Penn State, and then he comes here, he finds his home, like we were saying earlier, and that's not a knock to Penn State or anything. It's just he found his spot here. With the transfer portal being as easy as it is to come and go now, is that going to change how you're going to recruit things, especially with the success that you had with a guy like Teskey?
I think, you'll look at each individual like we look at each individual and we recruit them. I mean, there's certain things that, are you willing to take a risk on a certain guy? Because I believe in our culture and what we're doing. So yeah, maybe this guy, he's worth taking the risk, obviously depending on what he's done. But there's certain guys that just, they got put in a situation that, okay, maybe it wasn't what they thought it was going to be, or maybe they get treated a certain way, or I know sometimes where guys are leaving from and maybe why they're leaving, and you have conversations. Okay, well, why are you leaving? And then you're like, okay, well that's a valid point, but it can't just be just about the coach. Like, is there anything you did too? So I try to make sure that guys also are willing to, I guess, you got to think about that. The grass is greener where you water it, right? So you can make green grass anywhere you want. It just, you got to be willing to do that.
Yeah.
But I know certain things just don't match up well, and like I said, that honeymoon phase goes out really quick. And okay, after the honeymoon, here's what you're going to be left with. Are you okay with that? And that's what I think kids just get too bought up into sometimes. And parents, I'd love to sit down. I'd love to have a conversation with parents that, especially first-time kids that are getting recruited. They don't really understand what's going on. Be honest with them about things, and I think sometimes they make it about the wrong things. They get caught up in the lights a little bit too much, and you got to look at the substance more.
So you have a really strong wrestling family, right? So
yeah.
Your brothers wrestled. You're from Osage. Your wife, Allison Schwab, without her, this probably wouldn't have ever happened.
No.
Your boys are hammers. I love watching those. I really do. Like,
yeah.
I like a lot of times with internet clips, I just watch the first few seconds. But your boys' matches, I watch like every basement match that they do.
Yeah.
Then your girls wrestling at dance class and everything.
Yeah.
I guess my question is, with your boys, and seeing that they're having success and stuff like that, what do you think is the biggest mistake that a wrestling parent has with their kids? Because a lot of times kids end up just quitting the sport, not liking it. What advice would you give to like a wrestling dad out there?
Oh man, just talk to your kids about other things than just wrestling.
Yeah.
How they doing at school? How's your day going, buddy? Love you. And focus on, like, see, the grades can't be just their wins and losses, because some kids are just way more mature than others. You know, I mean, even my 2 boys, the maturity level's crazy. Like my youngest boy he's about 15 more pounds. He's bigger and stronger. He's matured quicker than my older boy. And so you're just physically stronger, so you can do some things that maybe the other one couldn't do. So are you going to get discouraged by your wins and losses? I think I would grade them on other things. I'd grade them on their body language, their focus, their effort that they put in. Okay, are they asking questions? How do they treat their teammates? I try to, composure in basement battles. I mean, people didn't see like how many times that these guys melted down, how many times that there was a tantrum, and now when they go watch them compete, and they're like, oh, these guys are so composed. They don't let anything rattle. I'm like, yeah, you didn't see it 1,000 times before that happened. Okay, there was something that was worked on, and that to me is very important, because if you can't keep your focus and composure, I don't think you can be a great competitor. You have to be able to channel and use that. So that's stuff that I would get them to grade on something other than their wins and losses, because, man, if that's only going to be the only thing that, okay, he feels great because he won, or he feels like he feels down in the dumps because he lost, it doesn't mean it doesn't hurt to lose, but okay, I think I would put a different grading sheet together for them than just wins and losses, and ease them into it. If they want to do it, man, go. To me, the biggest thing was getting my boys they wanted to do it, right? Hey, take me to this tournament. States this weekend. Take me to state. Okay, well, the next weekend is North Plains. Take me there, and I wanted to get to where it was that point. And first I was kind of pulling away from there, like, hey, I want to go compete. I'm like, nah, not this weekend.
You turn them down?
Oh yeah, I turned them down quite a bit at the start, and I have my own reasons, because like I said, I want it to come from them. It has to. It's too tough. And I know that there's going to be some expectations, just because of who they are, and it's got to be something that they really love and enjoy. And that's how they get the most. I think that's how you get the most out of anything, right? Like, you have to have some purpose behind it. It can't just be, well, I'm doing it because mom wanted me to do it or dad wanted me to do it. I think that's a little bit when you're young. I mean, you do that anyway, right? But that can't be the sole purpose. And I think that if that's the sole purpose as they move forward, then I think that's where the struggle comes, and the burnout. And I guess the biggest thing I would tell them is, don't have them cut weight.
Yeah.
To cut corners. So, okay, he's going to be big for this weight. Now he's going to win, because that takes the enjoyment out of the sport very quickly for kids. I mean, you're just like, this is awful. I can't stand doing this. No, wrestling's supposed to be something that's enjoyable and fun. As far as how you get to compete, is it hard? Yeah, it's really hard. But I just think early on, I don't think that's the association you want with a sport. Like, it's like miserable. This is miserable. Like, who wants to be miserable?
Yeah.
Nobody. So, I mean, those are some things. And I've talked to parents before, and some of them were like, yeah, I can see they're like actually listening, and then some were like, nah.
Yeah, that sounds nice, but he's gonna cut 10 pounds.
And do I understand that my boys are in a fortunate situation that they've grown up around wrestling, high level wrestling. I mean, they've been coming in that room since they were this high. I mean, I get that they were around the sport. So if you have someone that they have no other in the sport other than going to a club and competing, I get that would make it tougher. But I just think how you would grade them and not cutting weight, I mean, that's how I would definitely start.
Okay, you're wearing the Girls Wrestle 2 shirt.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
See that? And you got 2 girls as well. So what's the future of women's wrestling, you think?
I think it's just going to continue to grow. I mean, and you've seen the level. I mean, the level has, even in the last 20 years, I mean, the skill level of the girls has increased. I mean, they just starting younger. I mean, a lot of them just started later. It was almost like it wasn't normal to see a girl wrestling. Now it's like, okay, now, man, there's girls wrestling. They're starting younger. They're getting better. They're in clubs. I mean, and like I know there's a club in state that they just signed, to have a female that's coaching. I just think it's going to continue to grow, and it's going to keep our sport strong. I think if you look back when it was on the chopping blocks, I think having women's wrestling helped our cause a whole lot. And I think everyone's like, hey man, I think about what wrestling has taught me and continues to teach me, and what it's instilling in my boys. Why would I not want that for my girls? Yeah, why is it any different? And I think before it kind of was looked at, well, I don't think girls should wrestle. I don't think girls should, like, yeah, they should. Yeah, they should, because if there's certain things that we believe that it does for us, then why wouldn't we want everyone to be part of that? I know it's going to continue to get stronger. Hopefully the first D1 in state to get it. I know there's a couple D1s that have it, and I think that it's going to continue to grow on every level. I'm excited because I do have 2 daughters, but I just think that wrestling is too important, too integral for our society, man. I just think what the things that it teaches, I think, are getting phased out so much. The instant, man, and wrestling is so far from instant.
You make me want to have a daughter right now and just start training her. You
can get some work in. You can get it figured out how to get that done.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to hit the Google for that one. But, all right, before we wrap things up here, I'm getting the hand signal here that it's almost time. But these are just gonna be some random questions, not necessarily random because they're tailored specifically for you, but just kind of shorter answers. Feel free to say what you want here. Are you trying to beat Colat in the Q&A game? Because I don't know if you pay attention to that, but Colat, his Q&As are number one. Recently, you've been saying, hey, I'm hitting the road. Hit me some Q&A. So,
just so you know,
are you competitive with Colat when it comes to the Q&As?
Just know that he took that from me. I did that before.
Oh, okay, shots fired.
I did.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done.
I'll go back and look.
I've done it for a long time. You can go back on my Twitter. I'm saying this might be 5-6 years ago. I've been doing this.
You're the Q&A king.
Well, he might go more in depth in his answers. But absolutely. I mean, he took it from me.
Okay. All right. I like that. Let's see here. The next one is, so I know you're a Steelers fan and a Red Sox fan.
Yep.
Okay. So when it comes to coaching, there's been a lot of great coaches, managers between both those programs. And this doesn't even have to be Steelers or Red Sox, but who's your biggest inspiration, whether it's an athlete or a coach that's not in the sport of wrestling?
Oh, man. That's you read about a lot of guys and try to figure out, obviously, what they've done. And, I mean, sustained success, that's not easy. Obviously, being able to be around Gable was something that was great.
Not wrestling.
Not wrestling, I know.
You're trying
I mean, recently, I think I said that, I mean, Belichick, obviously, what he's been able to do, the level of detail that he goes into, and just that, hey, it's on to the next one, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's a wrestling mentality.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
But I like Saban. Saban, just because he's in the college realm, because there's some certain things with college to pro that I think are different. He'd probably be him right now. Some of the things that he's doing, and everyone's like, oh, they get the best guys. Yeah, they do get the best guys, but they also get them better, and they have them prepared. So, okay, yeah, that's why you can't beat them, because they're getting no one else is getting a 5-star recruit. Come on, that's all excuses. That's BS, man. They're just preparing them better. So I'd probably go with those two, but read a lot of books on guys and how they build things. And the biggest thing is it's got to come from you, right? It's got to be part of who you are and your personality. I can't try to be someone else. I have to be me, and then, like I said, those things that I talked about, those are how I try to be. So I got to try to get my team to try to be like that, because that's who I'm going to be. So if I try to be something I'm not, man, then you're going to see through that in a hurry.
Yeah.
But just seeing how they've sustained success, and that's something that I want to be able to do. And you take pointers from those guys.
Thoughts on Mizzou following you to the Big 12?
I'm excited. I knew it. It's been a long time coming. I think they just had to get a little bit away from them leaving the conference. It makes a lot of sense for us if you want to be able to have a Big 12 tournament that truly prepares you for the NCAA tournament. We got to have them in there. So I'm excited. It's we were able to create a little bit of a rivalry, I think. It was a rivalry. It's fun, and they've done a really good job. I mean, if you think about where Brian Smith, where the program started and where they're at right now, I mean, he's done
underrated, I think.
Very, very underrated. He's done an incredible job with when they were the Big 8 and there was 5 teams, and they weren't sending many guys, and you look at back, and I think Askren really got the ball rolling for them. But man, he's done a great job. He's done a great job with that program, and we got to figure out how to beat them in Oklahoma State and Iowa State and Oklahoma and all those teams. So I don't know. I'm glad that they're gonna be in our conference, and we're gonna continue to see them every year, and it's gonna make us better, man. We got to raise our level.
So, all right, last question here. This is something that fascinates me. I feel like it's not talked about enough in the sport of wrestling. Is What was your experience like with the Real Pro Wrestling TV show thing that happened? Because I was doing some homework last night, and I've actually done a video on the thing. Like for some reason, I wish that would have worked out. It was shot more like a TV show than like a competition. But what was it like being that you wrestled Chris Bono?
I wrestled. Who did I wrestle? I wrestled Freyr, Bono, and Larkin, and we did it like separate days. Heck, we went out.
Was it California?
Yeah, it was out in California, and they took, it was before anything was produced like that, when you're taking pictures and you're kind of like, this is kind of cheesy, because that's just kind of who we are a little bit, because we're not about, a lot of times about promoting ourselves and doing that stuff, and you're like, I don't know about this, and then, and I went out there, obviously won that thing, but just, I don't know, the set, having people on there, they were trying to build it up and hype it up, and won the tournament, and then they stroke you a nice check, and you're like, oh, this is.
What was it? Was the check public?
It's
It's all right if you don't remember it.
I remember. It was at that time. Guys are. I'm certainly getting more now, but I think.
Was it 5 figures?
Oh yeah.
Dang, that's crazy. Where the money came from for that or anything? I'm not.
Well, they had a couple kind of investors that really were trying to get that thing going, and they got it into TV, and I think it was on maybe every Sunday for a little while, and obviously trying to get into TV and hopefully get some sponsors and make some money, and then.
Have you showed the boys?
Yeah, they've seen it before. Yeah.
Do you think that we should bring back the power meter?
Oh God, no, not. They put me on the power meter like 6 times against Bono. Like, come on, that was ridiculous. I think the power meter was stuck, but that was one of those too. Though it's like there was a lot of things that were going on. There was things that was being said to recruits by him before, and I took exception to that. I didn't care for certain things being said to recruits, and that was the next time that we wrestled, and then I said a few things to him, and people bring that up a lot. But you know what?
I don't know what you're talking about.
After the match, I beat him, and then I said some things to him, and he said some things back, and it's all right. That's good though. I think it's good. It's good because, and we have a healthy respect for each other, but we also want to kick each other's ass. Like that's okay. Like we don't have to be disrespectful to one another, and still go to war with each other.
I think in today's society, there's not enough confrontation. I know. Like here we cover the beef and stuff, and we like that. But I feel like so many people are afraid of competition that they don't, or confrontation that they don't realize like that can be a really healthy, good thing. Like if you take something personal, it's all within the sport. It's not like you're crossing lines and saying stuff about family and stuff. Maybe he did. I don't know.
No. It was just you'll never beat me again, and unfortunately he did. But I beat him. I beat him too. So
yeah, I love it. Well,
that's it's just everyone's passive aggressive, man. You can sit behind a keyboard. You never have to have a conversation with someone.
Correct.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like just people have to be able to control their emotions. Like, and one thing I've learned from coaching and having guys go out in the coaching world, like, man, nothing can ever take away what those guys did for me. The blood, sweat, and tears they put into the program. Now they're coaching somewhere else. Hey, when we coach each other, I want to kick your ass, man. I want to beat your team's ass. And afterwards, I'll give you a hug. I'll help you out any way I can. But that's as far as it goes. It doesn't need to go past that. And unfortunately, that's not always the case with everybody. But I've learned some valuable lessons that's how I'm going to be with our guys.
I think your competitor makes you better than your coaches sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's you need your coaches to bring that out of you. But at the same time, it's like you think about anything in life. Competition is what really drives. That guy's really good. Well, I got to work even harder to get better than he is.
Do you think? Do you think Dake would be where he is without Burroughs?
Yeah, and he talked about
and that's great
that,
though. And that's a great thing, man. You make guys make you elevate your level, and I can tell you from a coaching aspect, there's some guys right now in the coaching world in wrestling that are making us have to raise our level, and either we pucker and like put our head down, or we better go to work and figure out how to raise our level to these guys, because they're doing something really, really well, and they're developing guys, so we got to be able to develop guys better.
Cool. Well, Coach, I think that's it. That was good. That was really good. Yeah. I don't think I stuttered too many times. Where can the people find you at?
Come to the West Gym.
West Gym. Coach Schwab on Twitter.
I'm on Twitter. Yeah, I'm on.
Anything you want the people to know?
No,
love Panthers.
Yeah, love wrestling, man. Love the sport and what it teaches guys, and just I know hopefully we'll be back in the West Gym this year and get get a bunch of fans here, or if we're not in West Gym, get to McLeod. We got guys working every day to try to get better, man. And we would want to keep raising the level of wrestling at UNI in the state of Iowa and the country. Had a U.S. Open champ this weekend,
Let's go.
So a lot of great things happening here. Appreciate you guys and what you're doing for the sport, and I'm glad me calling you out got you up here.
I love it. Hey, like we said, you can't be afraid of confrontation.
No,
you know?
not
So
at all.
Anytime,
No.
even if I'm critical or whatever, you let me know. So, but do it publicly so we get the attention.
Yeah,
for it,
yeah,
you know
for
what I'm
sure,
saying?
absolutely.
No, I appreciate it. Don't forget to hit subscribe, like, comment, all that. Follow these guys. Come to West Gym sometime. I promise you, whether it's a team that they're wrestling that's your favorite team or not. Yeah. Just be here and experience everything that goes on, and don't embarrass yourself like I did. But I appreciate your coming on, Coach.
Yeah,
thanks,
man. Appreciate it.